Hi there, it's Carol with Carolbcrafts. Today we'll be making this You're a Classic Happy Birthday birthday card or gift card holder. There's a little pocket here for a gift card, or you can just make it a regular card if you don't want to do the pocket. This is project number 2 in my Geared Up Garage Club Kit. Check out my website www.carolbcrafts.com to see what current club kit I'm offering. Now, if you don't have the club kit, you can still make this card if you have the supplies. I'll give the supplies and dimensions as we go along so that you can make this fun gift card holder birthday card with us. The first thing you'll need is the Geared Up Garage bundle, which is a bundle until May 31st. That's the Geared Up Garage stamps and the Garage Gears Thinlits dies. And it has a little awesome gear die in the back there that you can see. So you'll need those. You'll need your rectangle stitched framelits dies. And because this is birthday card, I'm going to be using the Itty Bitty Birthday stamps. And that will be for the inside that says, "You're not old, you're just older. Happy birthday." Now the inks and markers that you'll need to color the card, the sports card, you'll need your Memento Black, Tuxedo Black ink, light and dark, Smoky Slate Stampin' blends, the light Balmy Blue, light Daffodil Delight, and dark Poppy Parade. For your cardstock, you're going to need Real Red for the base, 4 1/4 by 11. You'll need some Whisper White, regular Whisper White, 4 1/4 by 3, and 3 3/4 by 4. You'll need some Daffodil Delight cardstock, 4 1/4 by 3. And we'll be stamping on these, so I'm going to set those aside. You'll need a 2" by 2" basic gray. We won't be stamping on it, but we will be die cutting it. You'll need a 3 3/4 by 2 3/8 basic gray, and then you'll also need 3 3/4 by 4 basic gray. Your DSP is going to be the one with the keys on it, the keychains and the keys, and it is, let me see, 3 5/8 by 3 7/8, 3 5/8 by 3 7/8, and then this piece of DSP that has the crushed curry, it is 1 3/4 by 4. So it has the little signs on the back. So 1 3/4 by 4. That's your DSP. Your ribbon and embellishments, you'll need looks like 6 inches of the black shimmer ribbon, and you'll need you only need one of the large rhinestones that I included in your kit. And we will be coloring these rhinestones with our dark Poppy Parade Stampin' Blend. So let me clear all this away. I'm going to take my Whisper White, my Daffodil Delight, and my 2 by 2" basic gray. We'll be stamping on these and die cutting. Everything else I'm going to slide over here. So I'm going to start by stamping, I'll stamp the car first with my Tuxedo Black ink. Let me get something underneath here. And get my car stamp out. Now I want to, I will be die cutting this. I might as well get my You're a Classic stamp out while I'm at it. And the other stamps come from the Happy Birthday, Itty Bitty Birthday. So that's all the stamps we need from our Geared Up Garage. For our car, we're going to need our 4 1/4 by 3" Whisper White. And we're just going to stamp in the middle because we will be die cutting this, so it doesn't have to be perfect. We'll stamp that with Memento Tuxedo Black, and I do kind of rub this because it does have that fine detail in the stamp. And I think I'll do it one more time because I want to kind of, but I don't want it too dark. Now, one thing I noticed is I don't want the car that dark because I am going to color it. I just want enough outline to color, but the wheels, I definitely want those dark. So I'm going to come back in and just tap where the wheels are, the corner of my Stampin' pad. And don't forget about this wheel right here. Just tap it lightly. And let's see, might have to do this a couple times. So we got that one. And I'm just looking to fill in any spots that don't have black on the tires. It also makes the tires pop when you do this. Now there's one spot that just doesn't want to stamp. Okay, I think that's good enough. So I'm going to clean off my stamp. So I'm going to remove this, and now I'm ready to do my You're a Classic. I'm going to be stamping on this piece of 4 1/4 by 3 inch Daffodil Delight. And of course, when we stamp on colored cardstock, you know that you have to stamp quite a few times to get a nice rich image. So the only thing I want to make sure of, now I'm going to be die cutting this with the 5th largest rectangle die. So I'll go ahead and get that out, and I'm just going to count from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be the 5th largest. And I'm also going to have to move these magnets, or they're going to go crazy over this metal die. What I want to do is make sure that I have room for my car and my sentiment when I die cut. So if I die cut about right there, that'll be plenty of room to die cut and have my car. Alright, so that's where I want my image, and it's not upside down, which is good. Now I'm going to stamp that with the Memento Tuxedo Black, but just like the other, there may be some spots because of the distressing that they do in this stamp set that don't completely stamp. So we can come back in with our journaling pen, and we can fill in with our 01 journaling pen. I'm just going to make sure I get it as much as I can. Like I said, again, this colored cardstock acts like a sponge. Okay, get that C a little better. Alright, that looks good enough. I'll clean off my stamp. And let's see, I'll bring in my 01 journaling pen. I see here kind of in the center of that C. I want to fill that in. Everything else is pretty, because I used a lot of ink, most of it else is filled in. So you can just fill in however much you want with your journaling pen. So that's ready to die cut. And next we'll go ahead and do the inside. Now the inside, whoops, is a little different. This is okay, so the 3 3/4 is the width. Let me turn. 3 3/4 is the width, and 4 is the height. So we want to stamp with the 3 3/4 across. And so we'll start by stamping "You're not older, you're not old, you're just older." And you know, I think what I'll do, so I have those stamps. I have "Happy Birthday" and "You're not old, you're old, just older." So we'll start with "You're not old, you're just older." And because I want to make sure my placement is perfect, I'm going to use a window sheet, a 4x6 window sheet. Put that in place. And I'm going to stamp here at the bottom where I'll have room to slide this underneath. This is going to be my guide. I'll stamp that with Memento Tuxedo Black, and it doesn't have to be perfect, except it's upside down. It can't be upside down for sure. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink that up and make my image here. Again, the 3 3/4 at the bottom, and I'm just going to put it up here in the corner where it looks level. Well, before I knocked it out of whack here, it was level. Put my magnet there to hold it in place, and then stamp my paper. I'll also clean off my 4x6 window sheet and dry it off, a microfiber cloth. Now I'm going to do the happy birthday, and I'm going to do it the exact same way. I'm going to put my window sheet in place, put my happy birthday stamp down here at the bottom, and ink it up with Memento ink. Make my image, and then I'll slide this underneath till I get it where I want it. And I'm going to move it over a little bit more towards the center, about right there. Put that in place, remove my plastic, ink up my stamp, and I'm ready to go. Clean off my stamp, and that's all of our stamping. Okay, for our die cutting, we have our Daffodil Delight that we'll be cutting our Euro Classic. We have our car image, and we have this basic gray, and we'll be using the one that looks kind of like a star. It's one of the larger ones. It looks like a star. We'll be using that one, and then we're going to die cut it, and then we're going to ink it up. But I realized that before we do our die cutting, we need to, it's easier to color your car before you die cut it. So the car part will be red, as you can see here. So we'll color our car body red, but this little piece here is going to be gray. Okay, and then we're going to do light smoky slate. We're going to do the chrome with light smoky slate, and I'm using my brush tip because I find it's easier to get into these smaller spaces with that fine brush tip. And I'll do the door handle and the wheels, the chrome hubcaps. And now I'm going to do my light Daffodil Delight for the headlights, light balmy blue for the glass, and then lastly I'm going to go ahead and take my dark smoky slate with the brush tip, and I'm going to go around the car, the outline of the car. I'm just going to go around and outline the whole car. Okay, our car is finished. So now it's ready to die cut, and I'll just line up the die, and I will tape it in place. I'm using my Scotch removable magic tape. Okay, that's ready to die cut. This I don't really need to tape. This I will want to tape. I want to leave enough room to put my car here, so that looks about right. I'll tape that in place. Okay, so I just remembered before we die cut that, we need to distress it. So let's go ahead and distress that with our scrap piece of paper underneath, and we're just going to take and kind of rub that die, the edges, the parts that stick up. And this is why you need the baby wipe handy. Try not to get your fingers too inky. And then we're just going to take that and flip it over here. I will tape that in place. Clean my fingers off good. Now we're ready to die cut. So I'll take these over to my die cut machine. And you will want to wipe off your plate, any ink that's on your plate, and dry it. And you're also going to want to wipe off your die. Let me get my piercing tool here to get this out. This just gives it a little bit of distress to give it some interest. So I'll take my baby wipe and just clean that off, and it comes right off. Okay, so we have our die cuts all ready to go on our card. So we're ready to start assembling our card. We'll want to score our card base. So we'll get our scoring tool out, and we're going to take our 4 1/4 by 11 real red, and we're going to score at 5 1/2. And we're going to score at 1 1/2. And then we're just going to take and fold that and fold this. So now we have our card base. I'll take my bone folder and crease those folds really well. Now if you have a punch, you can use a punch, or you can use one of your circle dies. And I am terrible about remembering to tell you all your dies at the beginning, so you will need your circle dies. I'm using the smallest circle die, and I'm just going to put a little niche in here for my gift card. Now I used a punch here, but you might not have that punch, so I'm going to use the smallest circle die for this one. And you can see I just have it in there like 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to tape it in place with my removable tape and run that through my Big Shot, and that gives us a little niche. And this removable tape removes itself without ripping your cardstock. Okay, that's ready to go in place. I'm going to put this down with a couple of strips of tear and tape here along the edges. So let me grab my tear and tape. You could use glue, and you could even use regular snail if that's all you have. Just put a strip of snail there. It might not hold as well, but I think it'll be fine. And then I'll burnish that a little bit to give it a good solid adherence. Get my piercing tool out and remove it. And then fold that over just like that. And now we have our space for our gift card. If you didn't want this to be a gift card, you could just cut it. Instead of scoring it at 1 1/2, just cut it at 1 1/2, and that would give you just a card flap and nothing on the back. Okay, we're ready to put our insides together. We are going to put our "You're not older, you're not old, you're just older." We'll put that there, and then we're going to put our Daffodil Delight, our crushed curry right here. So, well, I'm going to use glue for that. I'll put this one in place first. Even distances, top and bottom and sides. There's that. Now I'll put this here next to it on top. Okay, our inside is done. Now we're going to do the outside, and it has a little bit of a different it has this going across there. So let's go ahead, let's assemble our card front first. We'll need our DSP and our keys. And again, it's going to be 3 3/4 across and 4 inches high. Now before we glue this on the front, we want to put our ribbon on. And it looks like I'm going to get a pencil, if I can find one, and mark. And that is, it looks like it's 1 5/8 from the bottom. So decide what you want at the bottom. Remember the 3 3/4 is across the bottom. So 1 5/8 on this side and 1 5/8 on that side. And then at the bottom of our ribbon, we want to be right there at that 1 5/8 inch mark. We'll get our snail out and put some snail just above that mark across towards the center. That will give our ribbon something to hold on to when we wrap it around. I'm going to find where my curve is so I'll know the front of the ribbon. Even distances on the ends. Bring it around, find that mark, and then push it into that adhesive. Okay, that's ready to go on the front here. And I'll put that on with some snail. Now I like to just take a piece of one glue dot and just kind of stick it underneath there and give it a little bit of hold. Now we're going to put our Euro Classic on our basic gray that is 3 3/4 by 2 3/8. That's going to go there. I'll use glue for that. We're ready to put on our car. I'll use glue for that. And remember, we want to leave room for our little gear here in the corner. So you're a classic. And we'll put our gear on with some glue dots. And you can, if it sticks out, you can just kind of push it behind. So I got 2 glue dots there that's going to go in the corner. And I do want some of the yellow showing. So we're going to put our rhinestone there. So we'll get our dark poppy parade. And we only need to color one. I'm going to use the bullet tip to color. Just go round and round. Now I'm going to put this on with tear and tape, but I don't want to put it in past where I want where it's going to hang over. So it's going to be about a 1/2 inch from the edge of the red. And I'm going to mark it with my pencil so I'll know not to put my adhesive over that line. So I'll burnish it, and you can see I didn't put any adhesive past that line. I'll remove my adhesive backing and I will put that on the front of my card. Okay, now I have that in place, and I checked for adhesive on the back. I could remove it if I needed to, but I don't have any on the back, so I'm going to put my rhinestone in place. Okay, we are finished with our card. Check out my website, www.carolbcrafts.com, to see what current club kit I'm offering, and stay tuned for project number 3. Thanks for watching. Bye now.